Hey, the chicken! My iPhone says that it has a software update to do. Should I do it now, or should I wait until something stops working properly and then loudly complain on the internet about it? Well, odds are, especially in the spring and summer, you should do your software updates when they come up. Oh, okay. Are you sure? My friend Gail down at the salon told me that she did a software update once, and then Facebook stopped working, and her casserole didn't turn out well that night, and her husband cheated on her with a striking Canada Post worker, and then her house burned down, and now she has to live in a tiny house that Mark Carney forced her to live in with her 7 cats. Okay, I feel like most of that probably had nothing to do with any software update. But if you are wondering about how Apple does software updates, I'm happy to explain that to you. Oh, that would be great, because you're a huge Apple nerd, aren't you? Aren't you such a big Apple nerd? Do you want my help or not? Meh, I could take it or leave it. Sure, whatever. So first, you need to understand when you get a software update, Apple tends to use 3 different numbers to describe their updates. Like, for example, right now we're on iOS 18.5. That's the current version. But up until a couple weeks ago, we were on 18.4.1. And so there's 3 different numbers separated by periods or decimals or whatever you want to call it, dots. But they each mean different things. So the first number is like your major version number. And that changes every fall typically. Most of the time it's in September. And the release that comes out in September, that's going to be the one that has all the new visual changes, all the new big features that have been announced back in June. And that's going to be the big update that people like me absolutely love, because now my phone or my Mac or whatever device I have can do more things. But people who are less excited about their devices and just want it to keep doing what it does, they aren't always as excited, because sometimes things look a little bit different and you got to learn a little bit. So, like, iOS 19 presumably will come out this September. And the thing is, the first version of iOS 19 should be the most buggy version of iOS 19 that there's going to be. Everything after that should only get more stable. So typically what will happen is in the fall, when iOS 19 comes out, you'll probably also see something like 18.6 coming out. And so for people who are hesitant to upgrade, they don't love being on the bleeding edge and stuff like that, you'll be able to get a newer, still very stable version of iOS 18, at least for a while. Eventually, once Apple's internal teams and all that have really figured out that 19 is now like just as stable as 18 was, and there's no big common like issues that they know about, then they're going to start kind of having your phone only offer you iOS 19 as an update, because they don't want to keep making new versions of 18. Now again, remember how we said that there were 3 numbers? The last one, we're going to skip over the middle one for now, but the last place in it is typically going to be, if it's there at all, it'll be a 0.1 or a 0.2. Sometimes you'll get up to 0.3 or 4, but that's pretty rare. Those are typically going to just be security updates and bug fixes. Those have absolutely no visual or user interface changes to them. All that they do is Apple release the software, then for the next few weeks, uh, Apple got communications from users that said, like, hey, if I stand on one foot and I hold my phone out and I yell this phrase, my phone does something that I don't expect it to do. And so then people at Apple have to go back and figure out why the iPhone's doing that, because it wasn't expected to do that. They figure that out and they roll that into that next point update. One other reason why you'll often do an update and then have another one of those little security updates happen either the next day, 2, or next week afterwards is because people who try and break into iPhones, they will hold back security vulnerabilities that they find and not put them out into the wild. They'll wait until Apple releases a new version, they'll check and see if their exploit still works, and then they will sell that to someone in the hopes of giving that entity as much time to try and use that to break into certain people's phones. And so typically what then happens is after they've released that update, then, Apple's internal security teams and other security researchers are monitoring stuff. They start to notice people talking about these exploits. They figure out what they are. They figure out how to stop them from working. And then they release an update. So those ones, it's kind of funny because since it's in the third place, people often will think, oh, that's not an important update to do. If you ever have an update on your phone that it's just that one little third number to do it. It'll be a really quick update and it'll make your phone more secure. And there's literally no drawback. The middle number, That's your point, like point one, point two, point three. That number will progressively go up throughout the year. That will typically have major stability fixes, as well as occasionally add in like one small feature that you may never even interact with, or something like that. Or like it'll be a tweak or something that like they'd wanted to have in the original version, but then they didn't, or they got a lot of feedback from people and they figured out, we should have done this a different way, that sort of thing. That's what that middle number is for. So yeah, and typically, realistically, by December, the fall update should generally be perfectly stable. Most of the time, the original update in the fall is more than good enough for most people. If you're the sort of person who does not want to have any instability, wait for like 19.1 and then update. If you want to be really, really careful, wait for 19.2. But it's very, very unlikely that there would be a reason to wait for 19.3. And then once you're on the new version for that year, stick with that or like do the updates as soon as your phone prompts you. Also, make sure that you put your phone on the charger when you're running your updates. Okay, bye.